Now, breaking news from KXAN News.
And we start this Sunday with some developing news out of downtown Austin this morning, where police say an overnight shooting sent 5 people to the hospital. It happened around 3 this morning near the intersection of Red River and East 7th Street. Just to give you an idea of where we're talking about, this is feet away from the Austin Resource Center of the Homeless, or the Arch. At this time, no arrests have been made and no word yet on what led up to the shootings. This is the same area where police responded to another shooting last July that left 1 man in the hospital. We will continue to follow this story and bring you the latest developments throughout our newscast and online at KXAN.com. Good morning and thank you for joining us on KXAN News Today. I'm Candy Rodriguez in for Jacqueline Powell. The recent surge of new coronavirus cases across the state does not show signs of slowing down. Texas health officials report more than 4,400 new coronavirus cases on Saturday alone. 25 people died. Overall, there's more than 100,000 confirmed cases across the state. 38,000 of those cases are currently active. Since the beginning of the pandemic, more than 2,000 Texans have died from COVID-19. Here at home, 418 new cases reported on Saturday, breaking the record for most new cases in a single day. There are more than 1,500 active cases here in Travis County. Hays County isn't far behind with 1,200. Overall, there are more than 3,700 active cases throughout Central Texas. And in an effort to stop the spread here in Austin, more than 300 construction workers received free COVID-19 tests and PPE supplies. It's part of a pilot program that also offers antibody testing and financial assistance to local frontline employees. While at the event, Mayor Steve Adler reinforced the importance of wearing masks amid a recent spike in cases.
It is important for our health and to revive the economy. It is important so that you can work and keep your families healthy and not bring the virus into your homes.
Several organizations, including the Financial Literacy Coalition of Central Texas and the Hispanic Contractors Association, covered the cost of the test and supplies. This event was part of the Austin Latino Coalition Volunteer Task Force after the city promised a month ago to create a Latinx task force to stop the spread of COVID-19 amongst minorities. The coalition says it didn't get much of a response, so it created one. They say the goal is to provide resources for the Latino community. Austin public health leaders say they're working on a task force and are offering resources until then. Well, if you live in Austin, you are 3 times more likely to catch COVID-19 when you go out than you were just 2 weeks ago. The mayor's office says this claim comes from Dr. Lauren Myers of the University of Texas. This past week, the city of Austin's stay-at-home order was extended through August 15th, just a day after the city hit stage 4 of its risk-based guidelines following a spike in hospitalizations. And the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission has suspended the liquor licenses for 2 Austin bars. They say they were not following state reopening rules. It comes 1 day after closing down 3 other bars in El Paso, McAllen, and Dallas. KXAN's Caitlin Carmoot looks into the 2 Austin bars shut down as part of Operation Safe Open.
Buford's obviously has been packed out, I guess because of...
Andre Colbreth says he's been avoiding this scene.
Way more people usually. You could tell that even a week ago it just wasn't as busy as usual.
But TABC says busy enough for it to shut down these 2 bars across the street from each other. Buford's Backyard and Beer Garden and Whiskey Tango.
Right here, it's, there's been a decent amount of people in there.
He's talking about Whiskey Tango. TABC says both of these bars were served for not following capacity limits, and people weren't at least 6 feet apart. Those are things the agency is looking for as a part of its Operation Safe Open. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot has posted on its door different safety protocols it's following. That's things like parties of no more than 10 will be seated together, and guests are asked to remain seated as much as possible when drinking. Now they're suspended for 30 days.
I want to have a drink, hang out with friends, Now I got to find a different spot. This is a really good spot, so it sucks.
TABC says if a bar or restaurant receives a second suspension, it will be for up to 60 days. Over the past month, the agency has inspected more than 3,000 establishments across the state. Caitlin Carmoot, KXAN News.
We reached out to both of those bars. They say they have received their suspension notices, but aren't ready to comment at this time. And on Friday, KXAN investigators brought you the story of an Austin woman whose insurance company was billed more than $6,000 for a COVID-19 test. After our story aired, United Healthcare told us it's waiving cost share for COVID-19 related testing and treatments, and they're looking into her case. Well, they didn't know the exact circumstances and could not talk about specifics due to the patient privacy. They did say there has been a bigger issue with some providers using incorrect coding for COVID-19 testing when billing insurance companies. A spokesperson for Austin Emergency Center tells KXAN in an email it was United Healthcare that made the mistake, saying in a statement, quote, "We just learned this evening that United Healthcare used the wrong code, making the patient think we were charging for blood draws that we did not do. The lab just spoke to the patient and explained it was a United Healthcare error, and they will correct it with the insurance company tomorrow morning." Community care centers are shifting its hours at all COVID-19 testing sites because of rising temperatures and an increase in demand for testing. They will now test beginning at 6:30 in the morning through 1:30 in the afternoon. Hancock, Pflugerville, and William Cannon locations will start the new testing schedule tomorrow. Colony Park, Hornsby Bend, Manor, and Del Valley locations will shift to new hours next week. They're also asking anyone with a non-community care doctor and people with insurance to get tested through their provider or Austin Public Health. They're hoping to leave open testing slots for people without those options. And starting tomorrow, all H-E-B stores in the city of Austin, as well as Travis and Hays counties, will require customers to wear masks or face coverings. The requirement will comply with local orders for all businesses to require anyone who enters to wear a mask. The grocery stores chain says they'll offer free masks to customers who don't know or don't have one and are unaware of the new mandate during the first few days of the transition. H-E-B says up to this point, only its employees and vendors have been required to wear masks in its stores.
Now, first warning weather.
Hey, happy Sunday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Sean Kelly in the First Warning Weather Center. Happy Father's Day to all the dads. It's going to be a nice one today, starting off fairly quiet, especially when you compare it to yesterday at this time when we were dealing with some heavy rainfall in the metro. About 1 to 2 inches fell to western portions of Austin. Now, a whole different scenario, though, up north into the Dallas metro area with severe thunderstorm warnings and flash flood warnings in place. Some pretty nasty storms up there. So if you are traveling northward along 35 towards the Dallas area this morning, do be mindful that when you get in the Dallas area, even extending further off in the south metro area, you're going to be dealing with some of these thunderstorms. Maybe not quite as severe as it makes its way off towards the south, but definitely some pretty nasty rain, no doubt. Now, that won't be making its way here into central Texas, but I think a couple of those outflow boundaries could trigger an isolated shower later on today into the afternoon, but generally speaking, it's going to be a quiet and hot day today. Dealing with some cloud coverage south of the area. Overall, though, clear to partly cloudy skies right now here in Austin. 77 in Abilene, 80 degrees down in Laredo, 76 in Lockhart, 77 in Rockdale. LaGrange, good morning to you, at 78 degrees. Have you been outside yet? Well, it's muggy out there, no doubt. The humidity will be very high over the next 6 days or so. And then a little bit of a drop here heading this way towards the end of the week as the winds will be more of the north and the west, but that will not be the case today. We are going to have a south breeze with some wind gusts near 20 to 25 miles per hour. Your trail forecast for today, if you are going to be outside, again, temperatures will be rising quickly into the middle 90s for highs with a feel-like temperature near 100 degrees and a chance for an isolated shower or storm with even hotter weather arriving tomorrow. I'll have that full forecast for you coming up in First Warning Weather.
All right, thanks, John. 8:09 now. President Trump is now back inside the White House after a trip to Tulsa for his first campaign rally since the beginning of the coronavirus pandemic. The event was controversial because it was held during weekend Juneteenth celebrations and in a city that has seen a spike in positive COVID-19 tests. NBC's Jay Gray has more.
President Trump back on the campaign trail for the first time in more than 3 months. A return that comes after a rough couple of weeks, rebuked by the Supreme Court on cases involving LGBTQ rights and immigration, social media messages censored, losing a court battle to block the release of a book by his former national security advisor, who calls him unfit to govern, and a spike in COVID-19 cases in many areas, including Tulsa. Still, the crowd here doesn't social distance. Most aren't wearing masks. Neither is the president, addressing an arena that's not full, despite a campaign tweet that more than 1 million tickets were requested. The president blaming the empty seats on COVID-19 media reports and protesters.
You are warriors. Thank you. We had some very bad people outside. They were doing bad things.
There were pockets of protest, but no reports of violence. A scheduled speech by the president to an expected overflow crowd outside of the arena was canceled late in the afternoon. Still, it didn't seem to affect the enthusiasm inside. The president touching on campaign standards, including immigration, COVID-19, fake news, and the economy.
Look at how we're doing in the stock market. Just set another record with NASDAQ.
The president banking on a return to the campaign trail for some momentum 5 months ahead of the election. Jay Gray, NBC News, Tulsa.
And starting on Thursday, river parks in San Marcos will be closed. The city says COVID-19 cases spiking. Closing parks will prevent large gatherings. The dog park, state park, and natural areas will remain open. Officials ask people to social distance and wear masks. Anyone caught in these parks after Thursday will be arrested on criminal trespassing charges and fined up to $1,000. And today is officially Father's Day, but a nursing home in South Texas began this year's celebrations a little early. Take a look at this video. The nursing home in Weslaco held a car parade for its residents with social distancing, keeping many families apart. The nursing home had family members decorate their cars and drive by for their dads in the facility.
Everybody wants to be out and about. Residents also get a cabin fever. This was a good way to bring them out and actually have fun with it.
The center has been closed to all visitors since March 13th, so the show of support was definitely appreciated by all the residents, and I'm sure, Sean, a lot of folks are looking forward to going out with their dad today.
That's right, yes, and we have nice weather for all the dads today. Only about a chance for an isolated shower or two, really not a big deal, but actually we kind of welcome the rain, especially when it's going to occur in the afternoon, evening hours, because you'll get at least some relief from the heat for a short period of time. Temperatures, though, across the area, mid to upper 90s. If you are playing a round of golf, definitely earlier better than later. Maybe a nice evening tea time as well won't be too bad. With, again, feel like temperatures coming close to 100 degrees. Your full forecast is up next.
All right, next we'll show you how one school district is celebrating its class of 2020 and taking the steps to keep graduates safe. It's 8:13. We'll be right back.
Who don't cover their face. Why the governor is giving the okay to these new orders. The details next on State of Texas.
Austin ISD has announced it will be canceling its upcoming graduation ceremonies it planned to take place in Austin. The school district says they came to that decision because they couldn't guarantee that the ceremony would comply with local and state health guidelines. Instead, AISD will hold an in-person graduation walks all week. The graduation walks will take place in an outdoor setting at the locations you see there on your screen. Graduates will hear their names announced, pick up their diploma cover, and walk across the stage as a small group of their guests cheer them on during this important milestone. And meanwhile, Pflugerville ISD is encouraging students to splash into summer by diving into a good book. And thanks to a number of summer programs and offerings, it will be easier than ever to do just that. Starting tomorrow, 6 campuses' libraries will be open once a week for students to come in and check out books. An additional 6 libraries will also be available for curbside pickup. Students are also asked to post photos of themselves reading to social media with their parents' permission, of course. Round Rock ISD is already making safety changes as it waits for guidance from the Texas Education Agency. The district says it's preparing for the possibility to make a quick transition from in-person classes to a blended or virtual learning experience. Round Rock ISD is also working on assessing needs for additional Chromebooks and Wi-Fi hotspots, redesigning curriculum and grading practices, designing an all-virtual learning option for families who do want to stay home, and analyzing campus capacities. Ultimately, the decision to send a child back to school or not falls on the parents.
I have confidence that online education will look different and better than what we saw in the spring. That was kind of crisis education, and I know they'll have something that's a little more or a lot more robust.
The hardest part was not having that personal connection to her teacher.
Round Rock ISD Safety Task Force is debating if face coverings should be required for students and staff. Also, they're working on how to lower capacity in the classrooms. 8:17 now, Sean. It's hot and humid out there.
Yes, it is a little uncomfortable out there early this morning. And it's going to get worse, unfortunately, over throughout the day today, with highs today into the middle 90s. You factor in the humidity, and it's going to feel like it's in the triple digits. So, yes, get ready for a hot one out there, but still a great Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Plans are good to go. Only a stray shower in the forecast for today, but look at that massive complex of storms up in the Dallas metro area, we have severe thunderstorm warnings and flash flood warnings in effect. Now, that will be in the Dallas metro through the next several hours, so if you are traveling northward on 35 towards that area, you're definitely going to be encountering some heavy rainfall there, and maybe some of these outflow boundaries, the rain-cooled air could work its way into our area in central Texas. But again, that's going to be just triggering an isolated shower and isolated storm, and that's really about it. Overall, though, a clear sky and quiet, significantly quiet, more quiet right now in comparison to 24 hours ago. Only a few clouds out towards the south. Again, a stray shower in the forecast for today. By 1 o'clock, we're into the lower 90s, mainly sunny skies. 4 o'clock, a stray shower maybe east of the area or east of 35. And then by tomorrow morning, very warm, low 80s, upper 70s, mostly cloudy skies. And then check this out to kick off the work week tomorrow. Very, very hot, toasty. 100 degrees out into the hill country, 100 in San Saba, 98 degrees here in Austin. So get ready for a very hot day, and muggy and humid, and a chance of rain pretty much every single day. Again, low chance of rain today, low chance tomorrow, but increasing rain chances in the middle of the work week into the end of the work week, especially on Friday, where we could see some numerous downpours and thunderstorms. And that could actually trigger about 1 to 3 inches of rainfall. Now, this verifies we're actually going to be pretty good for the month of June. We started off well below average in terms of our rainfall, but we may actually close closer to average here. So we'll definitely welcome that rain. We need that for our gardens and our lawns out there. A live look on our Ewald's Kubota weather camera out in Georgetown. Traffic flowing smoothly right there. A clear sky, a beautiful start to the day. But again, it's warm and it's muggy. Prepare for that. 80 degrees in Giddings, 78 in Cameron. As you're heading out the door and walking the dog right now, temperatures today will be soaring into the middle 90s, mid to upper 90s for Father's Day. A 10% chance of rain we cannot rule out. A check here of your 7-day forecast. Again, very hot weather. In fact, actually raised the temperature since you last checked in with us an hour ago. 98 degrees tomorrow. So again, very hot, slightly cooler with the increasing rain chances towards the end of the week. But again, increasing rain chances means we could see about 1 to 3 inches of rainfall by the end of the week.
Sean, thank you. Still ahead on KXAN News today, new concerns over the Austin Police Department's training videos, why a recent audit is now recommending that the department make changes ahead of its next cadet class. We'll be right back. Community members tasked with reviewing Austin police training materials say they're concerned about some of the videos being shown at the academy. As part of a city audit, 11 people were asked to look for bias and suggest changes to the videos. The recommendations would come before the next cadet class goes through training. KXAN investigator Avery Travis explains why 2 of those panelists asking city council members for more time to evaluate them.
This man was shot in mid-body 10 times. So these aren't like light, fun, happy videos. Like some of them are really traumatic.
And Nakia Winfield says their panel has only watched 8 of the more than 100 videos that are a part of the Austin Police training materials. But she says they're already seeing patterns.
Things that are being taught in the video are outdated and frankly incorrect.
For instance, videos showing officers enforcing laws that have evolved or changed, like concealed carry. Another panelist suggested it'd be helpful to have a lawyer present in the viewings to talk about the rights of citizens in the video.
When they're only trained by other law enforcement officers, sometimes I think they get caught up in the, well, that's the way it's always been done, and that could go back generations.
The panelists agree they want to hear what's being discussed at the academy before and after the video ends.
We need a lot more context, and honestly, I think that we need a lot more time.
Ken Cassidy with the Austin Police Association agrees, in part.
If you're just giving someone a video of a traffic stop that's gone bad or a subject stop that's gone bad, it's just, I mean, you don't know what to think, and you don't know why the officers are acting the way they are.
He says his organization would be willing to come in and provide that context to help get the audit completed, claiming any more delays to the next cadet class will be detrimental to the department.
In the last couple of days, officers resigned, saying that the city no longer cares about them. Numerous people retired this week and last week that we didn't expect.
Avery Travis, KXAN Investigates.
8:25 now. We'll be right back with another look at your forecast right after the break. (8:27) now. In honor of Father's Day this year, the weekend morning crew here at KXAN wants to take a little time to honor our dads. This is our producer Faisal with his dad Mahamoud. This picture was taken at his brother's graduation ceremony 2 years ago. This is our floor director Connor with his dad Brett when he visited Austin last year. Connor says his dad helped him develop a love for the outdoors. Brett's daughter, who's also Connor's younger sister, is getting ready to graduate next weekend, so Dad will finally be able to kick back and relax. And this is our editor Andy and his dad Craig. This picture was taken at Angels Stadium in Anaheim, California about 3 years ago. You may have heard his dad's voice if you follow UT Sports. He's the play-by-play radio broadcaster for the Longhorns. And this is our assignment editor Harley with his dad Duncan. This picture was taken during a recent trip here in Austin. Harley's parents actually live in England, so he's hoping they can come visit when it's safe to travel again. And this is our director Angelique and her stepdad Cedric. This picture was taken on the way to a family cruise. Right now, Cedric is spending some quality time at home social distancing with his wife. And even though she couldn't be here this morning, Jacqueline wanted to honor her father as well. Here she is with her dad, Don, in Big Bend. Don is also a big fan of KXAN News Today. He watches from his home in Kentucky every weekend. And this is me and my dad in Mexico. We were at a church following a mass service, and such a wonderful time to spend with our parents today. And of course, we can't forget Sean Kelly with his dad. Sean, where was this picture taken at?
This was actually in Jersey on the ferry on the way to New York City. Pretty cool. Yeah, it was a little chilly that day. A little chilly. Nowhere near.
Not chilly today. It's going to be hot and humid.
Yeah, get ready for the humidity. I mean, if you go outside right now, you'll notice a difference from just 24 hours ago. It feels a little uncomfortable, and it will continue to be even worse into the afternoon and evening with a feel-like temperature near 100 degrees. So you want to continue to stay hydrated if you are outside for an extended period of time. Make sure Dad has plenty of water, and you're going to need plenty of water over the next 7 days, but a little bit cooler towards the end of the week with also increasing rain chances.
All right, well, happy Father's Day. We'll see you here back at 5.